we can definitively say that sucks. That might not work out. We'll stay the course here. That's some nasty stuff.
991, 4 miles from Gary. Maintain 3000 until established. Cleared ILS runway 13 approach San Marcos.
Turn left 160, maintain 3000 until established. Cleared for the ILS 13 into San Marcos, 991.
This is smooth IMC. Man, if you're gonna shoot an instrument approach in an airplane like this is what you want.
I'm Josh, a flight instructor and a filmmaker with a passion for the sky, sharing it with those around me and using it to see our world from a new perspective. Flying can seem super complex, and I've made it my mission to showcase safe practices while sharing the beauty we behold on these adventures. This is Aviation 101.
Addison ground cleared to Hotel Yankee Airport.
I'm gonna keep my voice down a little bit because Chelsea's still asleep. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and I'm about to do a cross country from Western Kentucky down to Central Texas in the 172. And I'm gonna use Garmin Pilot Web here to plan the flight out. So I'll go to flight plan here. We're departing from JQD, and then we're going to KHYI if my fingers can wake up and type. So that's our overall route. We really only have two problem areas with this 800 nautical mile route. We have a thunderstorm that's just south of Evansville, Indiana, that is heading right for us at the moment. If it were just, scattered green on the radar and it were kind of light rain, that would be one thing, but we're gonna have to wait this out. But it does look like it's gonna be pretty much out of the way by like 7 a.m. or so, and I was shooting for a wheels up time of like 7:15 or so. I'm willing to push that. So today's Thursday. I'm basically going to be in Texas until Sunday. Now, what day will I get down there? I don't know. The forecast down in San Marcos is showing that it's supposed to be like 500 overcast around the time that I'm arriving. It's crazy that like in the entire Midwest, there's only one line of storms and it's coming right for me. We're probably going to stop at Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So we have Ohio County. This will be every bit of a 4-hour leg to Pine Bluff. When we get to Pine Bluff, hopefully we'll time it right so we can grab fuel, taxi the FBO, and go to the airport restaurant. I'm going to need fuel, brain fuel, for what's going to happen next. And then we'll jump from Pine Bluff to Cherokee County Airport in Texas, East Texas. I'm going to do every flight IFR here. So I got everything filed. I pulled the weather briefing. Everything's looking great. Fill up a thermos of coffee, top off my water bottle, say bye to Chelsea and Millie, and then we'll head on out. Take off, contact Evansville Approach, pick up our IFR, and we'll be on our way.
This is what we get up early in the morning for, to go fly and start a trip. All right, got the hangar doors shut. Skyhawk is out on the ramp. It's about to start raining a little bit more. Nothing around me is going IFR. These cells really just consist of some light to moderate rain. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go ahead and start up, let the engine warm up and get to temp. I have to do that anyways before I do the run up. And I'm gonna go ahead and taxi to the end of the runway and then just wait. And then when I see that on Sirius XM, this stuff has healthily passed, combine that with what I see with my eyes out the window, we'll take off. All right, we've got NOTAMs, we're filed. Let's go ahead and run the engine start checklist. Seat tracks are locked. Fuel selector is on both. Avionics are off. Battery switch is already on. Let's get the beacon on. All other lights are off. Engine total time, I just like to take a photo of it. Carb heat is off. Mixture goes full rich. Throttle is cracked. Prime as required. Let's do 2 shots of primer on this semi-chilly morning. There's 2 shots of prime. Brakes are being held. Clear prop. We're gonna look for oil pressure to get above 60 or around 60 as soon as we start the engine, and the amps should be falling. Let's start it. Oil pressure's good. Amps are coming down so we don't have a stuck starter. Alternator switch is on, amps are stabilizing, avionics on, and mixture lean for taxi.
There's a great sense of satisfaction and security I get after executing a checklist. It's just like, you're not forgetting anything. It's raining a little bit for sure. Close and latch that. All right, let's do the pre-taxi checklist, CO detector test. We'll maintain about 1,000 RPM here. We can let the airplane slowly scoot forward. And before I continue the checklist, I'm just going to go over here to this corner of the ramp, is where I like to just sit and let the engine warm up. I get a little bit away from the hangars there. All right, seat tracks and backs upright and locked. Flaps retracted from the pre-flight. Make sure they're all the way up. Okay. Heat vent defrost. I'll turn it off. Chelsea was running the heater yesterday. Databases are up to date. I just checked as I booted up. One good thing about Garmin, they do everything the same on all their devices, and the databases will show up yellow if they're out of date or expired. They'll be white if they're within date. So we were all squared away there. Let's get the weather.
Hartford, Ohio County Airport.
Automated weather observation 1222 Zulu. Wind 110 at 4 knots. Visibility 9er. Light rain. Sky condition few at 1,800. Few at 5,500. Broken at 8,000. Temperature 7 Celsius. Dew point 5 Celsius. Altimeter 3030. Inches of mercury.
All right, the wind is a little bit of a crosswind for runway 3 and 21, and really it's a dead crosswind. Runway 21 is a straight out departure. Runway 3 will be a left downwind departure. All right, we got the ATIS altimeters are set. Avionics programmed. Let's go in here. We've got JQD to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So let's hit the little connects icon and hit send to. That sends that to the 750. JQD to Pine Bluff, activate. Avionics are programmed. Fuel totalizer is showing full of fuel, and that's what I saw with my eyes looking in the fuel tanks. It was right up to the top. Transponder squawking VFR. We're not going to pick up the IFR on the ground. We'll take off and pick it up in the air, VFR. The few at 1,800 I think is bogus. I don't think that's true. I think maybe a bird pooped on the sensor or something. ADS-B Sirius XM is connected. We're going to be using the crap out of Sirius XM today. Radios are working. Let's get the taxi and nav lights on. And brakes. Already did a roll test. We're going to check the flight instruments on the taxi. All right, pre-taxi checklist is complete. To runway 21. It'll just be a left crosswind and we'll make a straight out departure. It's looking really nice on the horizon. We've got more rain coming from the northeast, but we should be able to get out well before that. Nobody's using runway 3. Let's swing it all the way around and get a look at runway 21. There's the sunrise. Nobody using runway 21. Strobe lights, landing lights on, and before we cross the line, let's make an announcement.
Ohio County traffic, Skyhawk 809901, back taxiing runway 21, Ohio County.
All right, 124.02 is Evansville approach. And we're all lit up. We've got all our lights on, including the wingtip landing lights, the strobes. We're gonna get up to cruise. We're gonna get on autopilot, man. Break out my coffee. We're gonna be cruising. I like to taxi off the center line of a runway. I taxi on the center line of a taxiway, of course, but when we're taxiing down what would be perceived as an active runway at a pilot-controlled field or an actual active runway at a ATC-controlled field, then I like to taxi sort of offset from the center line because it makes our geometry asymmetrical from the runway, the white runway stripes and everything, so that airplanes in the pattern can see us. Chelsea taught me to do that. We're going to come completely across the line and announce that we are clear of the runway. We're not going to worry about like turning into the wind on this run up because the engine still needs to warm up about 10 degrees and there's really no wind to speak of. So I'm just going to point toward the final approach path so I can see any airplanes entering the pattern, which is doubtful this morning, but you never know. Trust but verify.
Ohio County traffic, Skyhawk 809901 is clear of the runway, Ohio County.
Come to a complete stop, waiting about 10 degrees for the oil to warm up. I'm wearing my Flying Eyes Otis frames today, which are my prescription glasses, because on a long day of flying, if I wear contact lenses, I know that by the end of the day, my eyes are going to feel kind of fatigued and maybe even dry, especially from being up at altitude all day. I'm going to be ready to take my contacts out. So I don't want to be like shooting an instrument approach at the end of the day and, you know, just like my contacts are bothering me. So I like to wear these. And then of course they have the magnetic clip-ons. I brought the blue ones today, so they instantly become shades, sunglasses. And it's just like regular glasses. I love it. Flying Eyes truly solved the problem. Look how thin these temples are. And they're super flexible, made from a material called resilimide. Super, super thin to go underneath a headset or helmet so it doesn't break the seal. And see how easy that goes under the headset. You don't have to like wiggle or anything. It just, bam. If you want to get yourself a pair of flying eyes, use code AVIATION101 at checkout for 10% off. Run up checklist, brakes, set, and hold. I'm going to just hold the brakes. Fuel selector is on both. Trim set for takeoff. I like to move it with my hand and run the electric trim. Alright, flight controls free and correct. Let's do a box check. Go into all four corners of the control range and making sure ailerons and elevators are moving as they should. Instruments calibrated and cross-checked. Airspeed indicators and altimeters agree. We're set 30-30 on the altimeter, 210 on the heading bug for runway heading. Mixture set best power. The primer is in and locked. Oil's above 100, it's at 102, and CHTs are above 225. Throttle 1700. This is why we don't need windshield wipers in an airplane like this. Prop just blows the water right off. Okay, carburetor heat. Rise in the carb temp, drop in RPM, and all four EGTs come down. Smooth, back in. Mag check, 2 clicks. Here's the right mag. Rise in all four EGTs and smooth operation. Left mag. Rise in 4 EGTs. Smooth drop. Back to both. We're on both. Amps volts, we're 13.3 and +1. Oil pressure and temp are both in the green, looking great. Idle, let's check close. Bring it all the way back to idle. Idle's right at 850 like usual. Throttle friction lock adjust and mixture lean for taxi. Let's lean it out while we do the rest of the checklist. Pre-takeoff checklist. Flap set 0 degrees. This will be a normal takeoff. Mixture set best power. We're going to get that when we're clear for takeoff or when we take the runway. Carb beats off. Altimeter is set VFR and we're going to get a squawk from Evansville. Heading bug set runway heading. Altitude bug set initial altitude, which will be 8,000. Autopilot mode controller. I'm going to arm heading and arm indicated airspeed, and I see 78 knots. Doors and windows closed and latched. Everything is closed and latched. Time note, 7:30 on the dot. I filed for a 7:30 departure, so that's perfect. Abort plan. We should be getting light and taken off by those 1,000-foot markers. If we're not climbing out of ground effect by that middle taxiway, we're bringing the power to idle, getting on the brakes, and bringing the airplane to a complete stop on the runway. After that, we have a golf course immediately to our right, and then right after that, just a couple seconds on the climb, we'll have Interstate 165 as a landing option. Loved ones, notify. Let me let Chelsea know I'm leaving. Delivered. Alright. Devices, do not disturb. I can control all my devices right here from my watch. Turning on do not disturb. I don't like my watch vibrating while I'm taking off, landing, all that kind of stuff. Parking brake is off, and landing and strobe lights are already on. Pre-takeoff checklist complete, and we are ready to go. Let's turn on radar here. Looks like we have a couple things on their way over, and in fact what I want to do here is I want to do a quick little spin around here on the ramp. Just kind of get eyes on what's around me. I see a little bit of a rain shaft out that way, but I can see clear to the horizon out there. I think we're good to go. Got a little bit of stuff on radar on the base layer, but I think we're good to go. All right.
Ohio County traffic, Skyhawk 809901 is departing runway 21. It'll be a straight out departure. Ohio County.
All right. Windows mixture lights. We're going to use up all available runway to us. Hug the edge as best as we can. Don't hit your wing on anything. We're going to turn and line up runway 21. We got a slight left crosswind, but really not much to speak of. Heels down to the floor. Let's go. $40 knots. Engine is producing its power. 50 knots. 55. Let's fly the nose. Give it some nose down trim. I can see that there's an ever so slight wind from the left. Pitch up for VY. We've got some light rain here. There's kind of like a 10-second period on this climb, or not even that, like 5 seconds, where you just don't really have a great option other than to try and put it back on the runway and go off the end if your engine fails. But you got to make the decision quick to abort. At this point, the interstate is our glide point. Engine's purring right along. We've got a crisp horizon ahead of us. We've got some rain on its way here. All right, we're clear of obstacles and everything, so let's go ahead and pitch for about 85 and en route climb. I definitely expected the sky to look a little darker with the radar looking like it does right now.
Ohio County traffic, Skyhawk 809901 just departed runway 21. We're departing the area to the southwest, climbing through 2,500, Ohio County.
Very subtle bumps I'm feeling right now. It looks like we got a little bit of rain that we're gonna kind of go through here for a second, but I see the horizon all the way through it. And I don't think really much of this is convective. Obviously VFR right now. Let's go ahead and switch to Evansville and see if we can make the switch to IFR. Pick up our clearance.
Good morning, Evansville approach, Skyhawk November 809901.
Skyhawk 809901, Evansville approach, squawk 4066.
4066, 809901.
991 radar contact, 5 miles southwest of the Ohio County Airport, clear to Papa Bravo Foxtrot Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 8,000, expect that as your final. Evansville altimeter 3027, stay at current altitude.
3027, we're passing through 3,300 now. We're clear to the Pine Bluff Airport via direct or via as filed and up to 8,000, 809901.
Skyhawk 9991, readback is correct and you are filed direct, so just direct destination.
Roger, thanks so much.
Skyhawk 9991, I show you an area of light precipitation that ends in about 3 miles.
9991, Roger. We're in it now, but it's pretty clear. We see the horizon all the way through it.
Roger.
All right, we are IFR. We're set for 85
Evansville approach.
on nav on the autopilot. I'm going to engage it.
Skyhawk 9991, contact Fort Campbell approach 118.1. Have a good day.
181, thanks for the help, 9991.
All right, Fort Campbell approach. They might be a little bit hard to pick up here. We'll open the squelch just in case they're hard to hear.
Good morning, Fort Campbell approach, Skyhawk November 809901, 5,400, climbing 8,000.
Skyhawk 809901, Campbell approach, altimeter is 3027.
27, 9991.
Wind is 290 at 39, coming from that direction. Ugh. And the thing about flying something at the speed of a Skyhawk is it doesn't take much of a headwind to slow you down to basically car on the interstate speeds. I mean, there's cars down there on the highway. Granted, I'm in a climb, but I'm just keeping right up with them. We're going to be, I don't know, probably about at least 500 feet below the clouds, maybe even closer to 1,000. Slowly pull the power back here. Oh my God, wind 290 at 46. Ugh, that might not work out. All right, we're doing 7 gallons an hour, running lean of peak. EGTs look nice and stable. CHTs are coming down quite a bit. All right, landing with 8 gallons. That's a little bit over an hour reserve. We can definitively say that sucks. I'll just do a quick cruise checklist. I already did my flow, but power is set, mixture set, lean of peak, and instruments are calibrated and cross-checked. Heading indicator, when I say that, that means heading indicator to the compass. Altimeter is set to the barometric pressure. And lights. Get our taxi and landing lights off, and we'll cruise with our beacon, nav, and strobes on. Cruise checklist complete. That's crazy. We're like flirting with our 1 hour reserve. It says, oh my gosh, it freaking shows our glide, or our fuel range circle is skewed. It's sitting off to one side because we have such a strong wind out of this direction. It says we'll barely make it to Pine Bluff with 1 hour of fuel remaining, which is my personal minimum. But if we were to turn toward like the Outer Banks of North Carolina, we could go all the way to the Atlantic, past the Outer Banks, before we even hit 1 hour reserve. I just sent an update to Chelsea and my dad from cruise here with the Garmin InReach Messenger Plus. So I've had a Garmin InReach for a long time. I bought it back in, I think, 2018 or something like that, just to take on trips, hiking, camping, and flying. The main thing I used that InReach for was messaging, being able to text with satellite. Garmin just sent Chelsea and I both one of these Garmin InReach Messengers. It has a rubber casing around it, and the fact that it can just lay on the glare shield, the battery lasts so much longer on this thing. I love that it's USB-C instead of micro USB, which is what the other one was. Everything's moving to USB and I love it. Power delivery technology is amazing. We're 3 hours and 22 minutes out, and we have 4 hours and 40 minutes of fuel on board. We're showing an ETA of 11:29 a.m. local time, which should be 30 minutes after the restaurant opens. As we're approaching the area called Land Between the Lakes, we have these two giant lakes that we're about to cross. The first one is called Lake Barkley, and the second one's called Kentucky Lake. And right beyond that is the Tennessee state line. And that's where the adverse weather this morning yields to clear skies. Alright, it's starting to get bright in here. Coming out from under the clouds. I will convert my glasses to sunglasses. Use code Aviation 101 for 10% off. Wow. You can see this high overcast coming to a stop, and it's perfect shadow on the ground where it's going to yield to clear skies for the rest of our flight. That is beautiful. The little airport under us is called Hutfly, Bon Air, Arkansas. You look down at these tiny little country airports and you wonder what's in those hangars, what are the pilot's stories, who is that airport important to, what goes on at that airport. Same thing looking down at like a little farmhouse in the middle of nowhere or a house in the mountains or something like that. Can't help but wonder what's their story. Or even just looking at a lone car on a highway down there. What's going through their head? What's bothering them today? What's making them happy today?
Little Rock approach, Skyhawk number 8090901. We have the weather and NOTAMs at Pine Bluff. If possible, we'd like to stay up high in the smooth air as long as possible. If we could just start our descent in about 6 minutes, that'd be great.
Skyhawk 90901, roger, that's approved. Descend at pilot's discretion, maintain 3000. Just let me know when you're leaving 8000.
Alright, pilot's discretion down to 3000. We'll let you know when we vacate 8090901. Thanks.
Clear and concise communication. That's all it takes. If you're learning how to fly or you're just trying to knock the rustiness off your radio work, like an amazing priceless tool that I've found is an app called RSIM, Aviation Radio Simulator, made by a company called Plain English. They've made this app, it's basically like a Duolingo for pilots. You run through drills and scenarios, it simulates conversations with air traffic control or announcements on CTAF, position reports. It drills holds, instrument clearances, flight following requests, contact ground, tower, literally everything. It's a structured curriculum, takes you through the whole arsenal of scenarios and situations that you could possibly experience in the airplane. It's really, really amazing. And in the last couple of years, Plain English has been a sponsor of the content here on Aviation 101. So, if you want 10% off your subscription to the RSIM app, you can use code Aviation101 when you sign up at plainenglishsim.com. Proud to have them on board as a sponsor for Aviation 101.
Vertical track.
Alright, that's 1 minute out from top of descent. VNAV's going to want to take us down to 1200, but we're going to set a floor with the altitude bug of 3000. That's what we're cleared down to. And then we're going to arm VNAV. Do a descent checklist. Seat tracks and backs upright and locked. Seatbelt shuttle harnesses are fastened. Fuel selector is on both. Carb heat, let's just check it real quick. That's good. AWOS, we have it. And altimeter 3023 is set. Instruments calibrated and cross-checked. Altimeters are set. Airspeed degrees. Heading to the compass. Looks great. Altitude target set, verify 3000. Barrel minimums. We're not going to use it, and mixture enrichen as required. We're going to give it a swig in as we start down.
Little Rock approach, Skyhawk 8090901, vacating 8000.
Skyhawk 8090901, roger, thanks.
I'm going to pay attention to our winds as we come down here, see how they change as we descend. That, like, taking mental note for our next leg, what altitude I want to do. I can feel it getting more humid down here. Probably level off at 3000, and we'll cruise there until we see the airport, and he'll be waiting for us to say that we have the airport in sight. Can't clear us for the visual approach when we're IFR until we declare the field in sight.
901, descend and maintain 2000. Pine Bluff Airport at 12 o'clock and 10 miles.
Alright, keep the descent coming down to 2000. We're looking for the airport, 80901.
Alright, 2000 set. We're going to let VNAV continue us down to 2000. I think I see some hangars out there. It's hard to tell. It kind of looks like there is a bit of a scud layer here. I do see the airport.
80901 has Pine Bluff in sight.
Skyhawk 90901, clear visual approach, Pine Bluff Airport. Report cancellation of IFR this frequency in the air or on the ground. Change to advisory frequency approved.
Alright, clear for the visual, and we can go ahead and cancel IFR 80901.
Skyhawk 90901, thank you. Keep the code until on the ground. Change to advisory frequency approved and IFR cancellation received. Have a good day.
All right, thanks. We'll keep the code of the ground over to advisory. And if we would like to pick up an IFR clearance from the ground on the way out, is there a frequency for that, or do we need a phone number?
Dog 90901, it's this frequency you can call us on.
Perfect. I'll do that. 80991. Thanks.
All right, coming into the bumps. We're keeping the code, but we're VFR now. We're off our IFR flight plan. Yeah, there's a little bit of a layer here. It's like, it's really hazy. I see the airport, no problem. We're going to continue down to 1200, which is our pattern altitude. Just make sure that we remain VFR, about 5 miles out. Turn the flight director off. Let's load the visual 18, just for situational awareness.
Pine Bluff traffic, Skyhawk 8090901, about 5 miles to the northeast of the field. We're going to be inbound for left traffic, runway 18, full stop, Pine Bluff.
It's 11:04 a.m. The restaurant on the field just opened. Not a bad looking river. Some people down here have lake houses, or river houses rather. Wonder how bad the flooding is out here. All right, let's start a pre-landing checklist. We're going to turn and follow this highway here. My seatbelts are fastened, brakes feel firm and even. Lights are all on, taxi and landing lights on. We don't need barrel minimums, autopilot's off. We're 200 feet above pattern altitude. Mixture set best power, let's get it in for landing. Right about there. Car repeat, let's pull it out for just a second. Fuel selector.
Traffic King altitude 97 Charlie is the 10-mile final, runway 5, full stop, hot spring.
We're starting to slow down for flaps range, and VREF is 60 knots over the numbers. We'll do a GUMPS check. Pre-landing checklist complete.
Pine Bluff traffic, Skyhawk 8090901 is on a left base, runway 18. Will be a full stop, Pine Bluff.
Hello, traffic friendly caravan is 50 miles to the northeast. We'll be doing our nav 23 into El Dorado.
Slowing down into the white. 1-1000, 2-1000, 3-1000. Flap set 10 degrees. Let's go flaps 20. Turning final.
Pine Bluff traffic, Skyhawk 8090901, turning final, runway 18, full stop, Pine Bluff.
All right, we canceled IFR, so we don't need to worry about that.
500.
All right, gas, undercarriage, mixture power, straps and flaps. Yeah, it's not IFR, but it's like misty and kind of hazy. It's weird. All right, 70 knots, power to idle. Really no crosswind to speak of, it's right down the runway. Into ground effect. Hold it off, hold it off. There's the mains. Hold that nose off, and there's the nose gear. I'm gonna apply some gentle brake pressure. We can exit here at Delta. And we'll clear the runway right here at Delta. Make sure every part of the airplane is clear.
Pine Bluff traffic, Skyhawk 8090901 is clear of the runway, Pine Bluff.
Fill up with gas right here, and then I'm going to just taxi over and park in front of the FBO and run in and get some lunch. Nice little self-serve pump. It's a good place. Good place to stop for gas.
Just dumping money in the tanks. Always put the hose and the grounding cable back where you found it. Nice little courtesy. Made it to Pine Bluff, Arkansas. It's very hazy out here and a little breezy, but the breeze doesn't annoy me quite as much at an airport like this as it does in Ohio County. When it's a little bit breezy in Ohio County, you're in for a ride. I'm gonna do some flight planning here in the FBO, hopefully over some good lunch. Airplane is topped off with fuel. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up, taxi just down the ramp there to the FBO and go in, grab a bite to eat, do some flight planning, file the IFR flight plan for the next leg, and then we'll be off. Be doing another pre-flight inspection and taking off right here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, bound for Texas.
Little Rock approach, Skyhawk November 8090901 is on the ground at Pine Bluff looking to pick up our IFR to Juliet Sierra Oscar.
Skyhawk 8090901, Little Rock approach, hold for release, clear to Juliet Sierra Oscar, port is filed. Maintain 5,000. Expect to 10,000 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency, this frequency. Block 1320.
All right, we'll hold for the release, clear to the Juliet Sierra Oscar Airport via as filed. Climb and maintain 5,000, expect 10,000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency will be this frequency and 1320 on the squawk 80991.
November 80991, read back correct, advise ready for departure.
80991 is ready for departure number 1 on runway 18.
Number 80991, release for departure. Cleared forward if not off in 5 minutes, not off in 5 minutes, advisement within 10 minutes, change to advisory frequency approved.
All right, release for departure will be off in 5 minutes and we'll advise within 10 minutes if not. 80991, we'll talk to you in a bit.
All right, windows, mixture, and lights. Let's get the lights on. Everything else is already done. Squawking 1320, ready on the departure frequency. And we've got 5,000 set as our altitude.
Pine Bluff traffic, Skyhawk 80991 is departing runway 18, departure to the southwest, Pine Bluff.
And here's runway 18. Heels down to the floor, wind straight down the runway, takeoff power set. 40 knots. There's 45 knots, let's fly the nose. Little nose down trim as we accelerate. Can't believe how dusty it is here.
Pine Bluff traffic, Skyhawk 80991 just departed runway 18. We're going to be a right turn out to the southwest, Pine Bluff. Little Rock departure, Skyhawk 80991 airborne off Pine Bluff, 700 climbing.
Skyhawk 80991, Little Rock approach altimeter 3020, ident.
3020 ident, 80991.
Use the ident.
Skyhawk 991, radar contact, half mile south of Pine Bluff Airport.
Departure 80991. We have a pilot report for you regarding Pine Bluff whenever you get a chance.
Skyhawk 991, go ahead.
80991. Yeah, the METAR or the AWAS there was reporting that the ceiling was broken around 2000. There is no ceiling, no clouds to speak of out here, but the visibility is reduced by blowing dust. Just wanted to let you know.
991, roger.
Super dusty out here, really nasty. I'll be happy to get above this.
Good afternoon, Memphis Center, Skyhawk, November 80991, 4,700, climbing 5,000.
From 80991, Memphis Center, roger. Climb and maintain 10,000, El Dorado altimeter 3021.
3021, climb and maintain 10,000, 80991.
Right, long view approach.
Long view approach, Skyhawk 80991, level 10,000.
Skyhawk 80991, long view approach, East Texas altimeter 3012, advising me of the weather and landing information for Cherokee County Airport.
And long view approach, Skyhawk 80991 has the weather at Cherokee County. We'd like to just put the RNAV 14 on request starting at Wedja.
November 991, I have your request.
That'll be easy peasy.
Bandit 17, contact tree report approach 119.9.
All right, he has our request. I'm going to go to procedure, select approach,
119.9.
RNAV 14, starting at Wedja, and let's just load the approach. We're not going to activate it. Okay, so there it is.
Crew check 128, maintain 3,000 till Keiko, clear RNAV runway 18 approach.
Dang, wind is 160 at 42.
991, clear check Wedga, and for now, descendant pilot discretion, maintain 8,000.
Pilot's discretion down to 8,000, direct Wedga, 80991.
Activate approach, direct to Wedga. We're doing a Category A LPV. We have the barometric pressure at JSO, and the baro VNAV temperature limitation does not apply to us. So that sets up our minimums, which is going to be 928. Let's brief that in a second. Transition is set for Wedga on smart charts. All right, we're going to brief this using Garmin Pilot's smart charts, which is basically going to parse down. We're going to select our category, select our type of approach, which is LPV because we're equipped with WAS. And these adjustments do not apply to us. For reference, this is what the normal approach plate looks like, and then here's the Garmin Smart Charts version. Let's brief the comms. Cherokee County AWAS is 1907. We've got that in here. We're talking to Longview Approach 127.32, which is different than what's listed here. We might get handed off to the other side. And then Cherokee County is 122.7. We'll just go ahead and put that in the standby. We might have to put it in again. That's okay. Let's brief it. This is going to be a WAS approach, so we're going to fly with magenta needles. We don't need to switch the CDI, it'll stay on GPS. Final approach course will be 135 degrees inbound, which will be auto-slewed by the avionics on the HSI. We're going to intercept the glide path at or above 2200. Decision altitude is going to be 928, so we're going to set that in our barrel minimums, 928. 928 feet is what I see, that's correct. We're going to expect some runway end identifier lights with some pappies on the left when we pop out before in the clouds.
Change to my frequency, 128.75.
It's a 5,000 foot runway and we're going to touch down at 687 feet. The missed approach is straight out to 3,100 feet to the Nopsey intersection and hold. The RNAV 14 into Cherokee County, Texas is briefed.
This guy's down and out of 1, descend pilot discretion, maintain 4,000.
Alright, pilot's discretion down to 4,000, 80991. We'll let you know when we're going to start that.
Roger.
Yeah, if I were not on an IFR flight plan and I were coming in VFR right now, I'd be a little bit concerned because I'm starting to see it kind of, I'm losing the ground out there a little bit. Not good, and we're probably going to get into a little bit of light rain up here.
Vertical track.
Alright, vertical track, let's arm VNAV, and altitude bug is set for 4,000, which is the restriction the controller gave me. Descent checklist. Seat tracks and backs upright and locked, we're strapped in. Fuel selector is still on both. We'll check the carb heat real quick. That's good. We have the weather at Cherokee County. Altimeter 3012, instruments calibrate and cross-checked, that's set. Heading indicator looks great. Bugs and modes are set. Altitude target set 4,000. Barrel minimums are set 928. Let's verify that. 928 on smart charts. Mixture enriching as required. We'll do that as soon as we start down. Descent checklist complete.
Longview approach Skyhawk 80991 is starting the descent down to 4,000.
Skyhawk 991, roger. Skyhawk 991, cross the Wetca at above 3,100, clear RNAV 14 approach Cherokee County Airport.
Cross Wetca at or above 3,100, clear for the RNAV 14 into Cherokee County 80991.
Alright, cross Wetca at or above 3,100, cleared for the RNAV 14 approach into Cherokee County. I'm going to hand fly this approach, but I don't think it's going to be loggable. In fact, I think I might even see the airport out there already. In order for it to be loggable in actual IMC, I have to be in actual IMC at some point past the final approach fix. I don't think that's going to happen. I think once we cross the final approach fix, I'm going to be already in VMC. Definitely some precip out here. So now glide path and altitude pre-select is armed, and we're currently in VNAV, and we've already captured GPS, and this is a GPS approach, so we're squared away there. So right now, glide path is armed, but we're maintaining altitude at 3,100 feet, and we're just going to stay here until we intercept the glide path. I don't really have a horizon, but I have the ground. I can see the ground all around me for, like, we are, surprisingly, we are definitely still VFR. Absolutely don't see the airport. 6 nautical miles until the final approach.
493, squawk 2336.
Alright, I'm going to hand fly it from this point out.
493, radar contact 2 miles southwest County Airport, verify current altitude.
Alright, we're doing great. We're just above the glide path, and we are right on the approach path. No airport yet. No crab to speak of. We've got a 30 knot wind in our face at the moment. I'm trying to move my head around to see if I can see it. I can't see it. Alright, we've crossed the final approach fix. Oh, I don't have an airport. So I am still on instruments. Reduce power just a little bit because we're high and slightly fast. So I could take total energy out of the equation by reducing throttle. There's a little bit of an updraft. I see some buildings out there, but it's just a blur. I can't make it out yet. So I'm still on the instruments. Alright, I kind of see the runway out there. I'm not going to go visual quite yet. I'm going to stay on the numbers here.
Cherokee County traffic, Skyhawk 80991, a 3-mile final, runway 14 will be a full stop, Cherokee County.
We were a little fast and got a little high, so I'm going to remove total energy from the equation by reducing throttle. I give it a little nose up trim. You can kind of split my attention, go visual, but also cross-check with the instruments. We don't want to deviate from the approach. We're still cleared for the approach. We can deviate from the approach when we get a little bit closer, but out here this far, we're still a 2-mile final. I want to somewhat stay on the approach and glide path. Cancel.
500.
500 AGL.
Cherokee County traffic, Skyhawk 809901, 1 mile final, runway 14, full stop, Cherokee County.
Minimums.
Runway in sight, continue. 1000, 1000, 1000, flap set 20. Got a little extra energy to bleed, that's cool. We're just going to come down here into the round out. Into the flare. Just hold it off, hold it off. And I'm not going to get heavily on the brakes because this is a wet runway, we'll just start sliding. We got a visual of the runway about 1,000 feet off the ground. Let's get entirely across the line here. Announce that we're clear, clean up the airplane, and call approach on the phone.
Cherokee County traffic, Skyhawk 809901 is clear of the runway, Cherokee County.
Hey, this is Skyhawk 809901 on the ground at Cherokee County. Cancel IFR. Alright, thanks a bunch. Visibility was 4 statute miles with moderate rain.
Alright, thank you.
I came in a little fast over the numbers. I should have probably gone flaps 30, but we were getting like a few bumps there on final. And I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to get all squirrely as soon as I got down to flare height, like it does at Ohio County.
Okay, visited with my buddy Clint for a while here, just sitting in the FBO talking. Did a little flight planning, looked at the weather. The hangar door needs some grease. Did a little flight planning and I went ahead and filed an IFR flight plan from Cherokee County to the Industry VOR down in Central Texas, and then we're gonna cut westbound from there toward San Marcos. That should keep us clear of the convective weather. We're only moving at 100 knots in this airplane, so we'll see. Things can change before we get there. It's gonna be about a 2-hour flight with an ILS approach at the end, and we are at 4:15 p.m. So I'm gonna call on the phone with the phone number they gave me to cancel. I'm gonna pick up my IFR clearance on the ground, or I could pick it up in the air. It actually looks really nice here right now. Once I take off, we'll proceed IFR toward Industry, roughly, probably take deviations for some weather, and then try to head on into San Marcos. But we're gonna be ready to divert if we have to. Let's go.
It's VFR here at Cherokee County, and we're ready to depart.
Cherokee County traffic, Skyhawk 809901, departing runway 14. We're going to be a departure to the southwest, Cherokee County.
Yeah, 14, this is the correct runway. Here we go, we're departing VFR, we're going to pick up our clearance. In the air. Takeoff power set, there's 2300. Let's fly the nose. It's very pretty out here. Not very many places to land. Have to put it in the trees. Alright, I'm going to make left traffic and cross over midfield and depart the area that way.
Cherokee County traffic, Skyhawk 809901 on a left crosswind, off runway 14. We're going to make a left downwind and cross over midfield to depart to the southwest, Cherokee County.
Turn over the highway here.
Cherokee County traffic, Skyhawk 809901 is crossing over midfield to depart the area to the southwest, Cherokee County. Longview approach, Skyhawk 809901, just departed Cherokee County, looking to pick up our IFR to Hotel Yankee India.
Skyhawk 809901, Longview approach, squawk 6257.
6257, 809901.
Skyhawk 9091, radar contact 2 miles southwest Cherokee County Airport, verify altitude.
Climbing through 3,200 now, 809901.
Skyhawk 9091, you're cleared to the Hotel Yankee India Airport as filed and climb maintain 6,000.
Alright, cleared to Hotel Yankee India as filed up to 6,000, 809901.
Check 97.
Cleared as filed. We're going to go on autopilot.
Skyhawk 9091, contact Fort Worth Center 135.25, good day.
35.25, 809901, good day. Forward center, Skyhawk 80991, 4,700 climbing.
November 80991, forward center, I got your check on the left altimeter 3012 is a scattered area, moderate precipitation, 12 o'clock, and about 15 miles, area's 15 miles diameter.
3012, we'll keep eyes on it, 991, thanks.
Alright, coming up to 6,000 feet. Moderate bumps so far and a ripping headwind. Alright, we're starting to level off. Alright, we're not quite high enough for lean of peak, so we're just going to fly rich of peak. Lean of peak is also good for like a smooth, stable kind of flight. Here we're going to be kind of bouncing around. It's going to be hard to pay attention to the smoothness of the engine to tell if we're too lean. So we're just going to run rich of peak here. Wind is 170 at 41, so that translates to a 35 knot headwind component. We're doing 78 knots over the ground. Hour and 32 minutes until we hit the industry VOR.
Bingo 80, roger, thank you. November 901, contact Houston Center, 134.8.
134.8, 80991, good day. Houston Center, Skyhawk 80991, 6,000.
Skyhawk 80991, Houston Center, welcome, moderate precipitation, 12 o'clock. 5 miles, continue for about 4 miles along your route to the south. Let me know if you'd like to deviate. Huntsville, altimeter 3006.
3006, we'll let you know, 991.
The thing is, this system is not frontal, so it doesn't have the same like violent winds, microbursts. You're still going to have downdrafts because it's precip. We are getting into the clouds a little bit here. For the same reason that airline pilots and flight attendants say you should keep your seatbelt fastened when you're in your seat in case of unexpected turbulence. It's even more important for you to do that as the pilot of your own airplane. I don't want to fly with my shoulder harnesses all loose and my lap belt loose so I'm comfortable and can move, because we're in some turbulence. And if we just hit one big bump that like disorients me or throws stuff around the cockpit or whatever it may be, I want to be firmly attached to my seat so that I don't lose my bearings to my controls. We're just barely in the layer.
4242, contact forward center, 126.32.
I can see the ground, but we're just kind of in and out.
4242.
We'll stay the course here, and that's some nasty stuff down south of Navasota and southeast of Industry. So we don't want to contend with that. We want to be turning towards San Marcos before we're getting into that stuff. But it's all moving north, so our gap is moving north. So it's moving toward us. We're moving toward each other. And then as soon as it lines up, we're gonna go for the gap. I'm wondering if it would be better to go down to 4, because then I think we would be in VMC for most of the way. There was a PIREP about an hour ago out of San Antonio. The tops were at 9,000. That was from a Boeing 737. So none of this, there's only a couple of spots where it actually turns orange and red. There's this one cell north of Dallas that's a thunderstorm. But everything else down here, except for this big line southwest of Houston, today down here in Texas is a very stable atmosphere. We don't have extensive vertical development going crazy with clear skies, hot weather plus moisture, thunderstorms, vertical development, turbulence. It's very calm. We get a little bit of light turbulence when we're going through IMC, where the actual precip is, but it's very good. As long as we stay in the green stuff, we should be good. Try to steer clear of the yellow stuff with the help of ATC. I know the pitot heat's working for 2 reasons. One, I always check it with my hand, but you got to be careful. I check it before IFR flights on pre-flight. When I turn on all the lights, I turn on the pitot heat as well if I'm going to go fly IFR, and I'll walk around the plane, and by the time I'm done making a lap around the plane, I just real quick grab the pitot tube and let go. You'll feel that it's warm. If you leave it on for too long, it will get so hot and it will burn your hand. I burned my hand one time because I didn't realize it got that hot. The other reason I know it's working is when I turn on the pitot heat, I see the ammeter sort of bounce for a second, and then the alternator, the voltage regulator, catches up. And when I turn it off, it goes into positive and then kind of comes back and stabilizes. So according to the next rad, we're getting into sort of the bridge between these two big systems right here. We're flying across it, and we are indeed in the precip. But it's really smooth. Fingers crossed that it's going to stay that way. That's a talk show coming through on the ATIS frequency for San Marcos. It's like kind of fading in and out. Weird atmospheric stuff like that happens pertaining to radio frequencies when the atmosphere is full of moisture like this.
Houston approach, Skyhawk 80-909-6000.
Skyhawk 80-909-1, Houston approach, college altimeter 3000.
3000-909-1.
This is a really great lesson in the difference between a stable versus an unstable atmosphere. If the radar looked something like this on an unstable day, we would be getting rocked. This would be a terrifying flight, and it would be extremely dangerous. It would have been really stupid to take off. But on a day like today, we have a stable atmosphere. This is widespread, continuous rainfall with stratiform clouds and poor visibility. Epitome. That is literally textbook stable atmosphere. Parachute jump area near and ahead. I don't know if anybody's jumping today. This gap is holding up really nicely. We'll see how this stuff is around San Marcos. Hopefully it won't be too bumpy getting in. We're going to keep it in the back of our mind to divert. We have plenty of airports that are VFR all over the place. We're coming up on another area of VFR. I am glad I am very instrument proficient recently. Did a lot of instrument flying. I'm going to give it just a little longer, and then we're going to cut towards San Marcos, because all of that's moving to the north. And the image is delayed here, so it's actually further north than we think it is. Likewise, all this stuff is further north than we think it is. It's moving at 16 knots, and the echo tops are 20,000 feet. That's another thing that tells us it's a stable atmosphere. The tops of this precipitation is not going up very high. Now, if it were an unstable atmosphere, there would be a tremendous amount of vertical development, and this stuff would be booming up to 45,000 feet. But it's not. It's not. It's topping out in the 20s, maybe up to 30.
0991, proceed direct San Marcos now. That will keep you clear, keep you well to the south of the precipitation building to the north.
Perfect. I was just about to ask you that. Direct San Marcos. Thanks. 991.
He's watching out for me. Go to flight plan, San Marcos, activate. Here we go. So the layer I have up on Garmin Pilot here is ceilings. I want to monitor the ceilings because I'm going to shoot an instrument approach. But it's important to also monitor visibility. We want to make sure the visibility is not going to go to absolute crap. So I can turn on flight conditions, and it shows all these circles. It says whether it's IFR, marginal, low IFR, VFR. They have split colors, so it's like a top and bottom semicircle. The top portion of the circle, the top semicircle, indicates the ceiling conditions, and the bottom semicircle indicates visibility conditions. So like, for example, Austin Executive right here, inside their little pill there, it's showing blue on the bottom, red on the top. That means the ceiling is IFR and the visibility is marginal VFR. And I think we're going to be shooting an approach in smooth IMC. This is going to be really good. Still 53 minutes out. I'm almost entertaining. If it's going to be smooth coming down the approach, I could ask if I could do an approach, go missed, and get vectored back around for one more to a full stop. And then that knocks out, that resets my instrument currency if I do one more in actual. Alright, looks like San Marcos has updated their weather report 5 minutes ago. Wind 150 at 7, ceiling 800, visibility 10. Broken 800, broken 2000, overcast 3700. Yeah, by the time we get to San Marcos, we're going to be like out of the weather. There shouldn't be any more preset, really. We're just going to be in IMC.
5000, signing 140. Skyhawk 80-991, contact Austin approach 119.0.
119.0, 80-991, thanks. Austin approach, Skyhawk 80-991, 6000.
Number 80-991, Austin approach, Austin altimeter is 299.65, we have the weather at San Marcos.
299.6, we have Bravo at San Marcos, 991.
Skyhawk 991, turn 15 degrees left, going to maintain 4000.
15 left down to 4000, 80-991.
Alright, 15 degrees left on the heading, down to 4,000. 4,000 set, we're in vertical speed mode, and he's going to want at least 500 feet a minute.
Contact Austin 127.22.
27.22, 80-991.
2722, he is busy.
Approach Skyhawk 80-991, 5,700, descending 4,000.
991, approach, altimeter is 2996.
96.
Busy.
South 3709, approach radio check.
Maybe I shouldn't go missed and do another approach. Probably won't be able to do it. Let's do a descent checklist. Seat tracks and backs upright and locked. Seatbelt shoulder harnesses are good. Fuel selector is on both. Carb heat, let's just check it real quick.
Air precipitation 12 o'clock and 3 miles, about 4 miles diameter, moderate intensity.
We've got the ATIS information Bravo altimeter set. 2996. Instruments calibrated and cross-checked. Airspeeds agree and altimeters agree. Heading indicator looks good for the compass, but we are accelerating downward right now, so we're getting an error. And that's expected. 4,000 is set. Barrel minimums. Don't have an approach selected yet.
King Air lower passing them.
Extra enriching as required. I'm gonna give it just a little swig in. Pull the power back and turbulence in the descent here, just so that we don't rev up too high on the RPM and we're not getting close to the yellow on the airspeed and turbulence.
2 miles diameter should be just.
Go ahead and get our taxi and landing lights on. All lights are on. 11 degrees Celsius outside. Icing's not a problem. 4,200 descending 4. Altitude capture. Depending on how thick the clouds are when you're actually in it, it's like snow blindness. Oh yeah, those clouds go down low. It's 800 overcast where we are right now. Alright, they're saying that we're doing the ILS, so I'm going to go to procedure, San Marcos ILS 13. Very likely going to be vectors, so I'm just going to load vectors.
2419, descend to maintain 7,000, 7,000, speed 210.
Descend to 7,000, speed 210 at 7 American 2419. Okay.
Alright, select ILS category A, which is what we are. We're going to select ILS. Everything's operative according to the NOTAMs. We're going to be vectors to final, so that gets rid of all that other jargon that we don't need. Comms 120.82, we have information Bravo. We're talking to approach 2682 in the standby, which is tower. We'll worry about ground when we're on the ground. Briefing 108.7 and 108.7. We're going to intercept the glide slope at Gary's on the glide slope at 2441. But that's not the altitude we're going to be at. We're going to be at or above 2,700.
991, did you want the ILS into San Marcos today?
80991, yeah, the ILS would be great. And I was going to ask you if you have a moment, would it be all right with your workload if we shot an approach, went missed, and came around for another one to a full stop?
Yeah, we should be able to accommodate that. Let me talk to the next controller before I get back to you.
Okay, yeah, and if not, if y'all are too busy, that's fine.
And would it be like 2 ILSs then?
Yeah, or we could even do the RNAV first and then finish the ILS.
80991, you can expect that ILS approach. Let me know when you're ready to copy the climb out instructions.
Alright, 80991 is ready to copy.
991, climb out instructions are hitting of, let's do 080, climb maintain 3,000. We're coming back to Austin approach 119.0.
Alright, on climb out it'll be heading 080 up to 3,000 and 119.0 on the departure frequency 991. And just to verify for 80991, this first one will be the ILS, is that correct?
Affirmative. 80991, expect the ILS 13, and then whatever approach you want next, we can talk to he'll set you up on the next one.
Okay, sounds good. We'll brief up the ILS. Thanks.
So we were already on the correct approach. We're going to intercept the glide slope. We're going to cross Gary's on the glide slope at 2441. I got 793 in our barrel minimums. We're going to see balls lighting with PAPI lights. The runway is 5,601 feet. Touchdown zone elevation is 593 feet. This is the published mist, but on the go here, we are going to execute what he gave us, which is heading 080 3000 and back to approach on 19.0. Sweet! Let's do it. And then let's do the full procedure RNAV 13 after that with a holding entry, and then we'll come on in to that approach. Let's do the ILS here fully coupled. Or maybe we should hand fly the first one and like get it over with, and then the next one can just be like a treat on autopilot. Alright, missed approach instructions commit to memory, heading 080 up to 3000, and it'll be 19.0. Alright, I'm going to activate vectors to final.
Cessna 991, contact Austin approach 119.0, 19 nothing, have a good one.
19.0, thanks for the help, good day. Austin approach, Skyhawk 80991, 40,250 assigned.
80991, Austin approach, good afternoon, altimeter is 2995.
2995, 991.
So the previous controller already called and checked with this controller that it's okay that I do 2 approaches and that they can handle it with their workload, like working airplanes. And he said, yeah, sure, you can do that. I will be the only one in this airspace doing practice approaches today.
Skyhawk 991, descend to maintain 3,000.
Down to 3,000, 80991.
270, vectors ILS 13.
You cut out for a second. Was that for 80991?
80991, affirmative, heading 270, vectors ILS 13.
Alright, 270, vectors for the ILS. Thanks, 991.
Frontier 1815, cleared direct LOL.
Went in a dead spot
direct
there.
LOL,
Alright, he's widening us out a little bit. We're timing this perfectly, and I cannot take credit for that, which sucks. It's pretty much luck. Alright, so let's put 126.82 in the standby. That's San Marcos Tower. We've got 108.7 on both radios. I just for a second got the localizer. We're abeam the airport. The airport's right out there. We're about to go into IMC again here. I'm glad they're able to accommodate me doing this. This will be fun. I've never done a missed approach in actual IMC.
Sky 991, you flight 260.
260, 991.
Alright, I'm going to hand fly it from here on out. Alright. Do a pre-landing checklist. Seatbelt, shuttle harnesses are fastened. Brakes, pedal test. They feel firm and even. Lights on. We're going into IMC. Aero minimums are 793. 793 on the approach. Autopilot is off. Make sure I'm going to start to bring it in just a little bit. Pull the power back just a little bit.
South 991, turn left heading 220.
220-80-991. You're coming in real weak. I got to keep the squelch open to hear you.
South 991, we're going to check my other transport.
Right.
South 991, radio check.
Loud and clear. 991.
Okay.
Autopilot's off. Mixture is set where I want it. Repeat. Let's check it real quick. Smooth operation. Fuel selector is on both. Flaps. We're going to get those when we're about to intercept the glide slope. And be ref 60 knots over the numbers. Pre-landing checklist complete. We're going to get a GUMPS check as we're pulling the power back to get ready to intercept. Now we see IRUM, IRUM, and IRUM. Both Garmin radios have identified the Morse code, and I know right here on the briefing of Garmin Smart Charts for the ILS-13, IRUM. That's the signal for the ILS-13 into San Marcos. He's got us on a base right now, base leg, and we're going to have a left turn. That's going to be the PTAC. He's going to give us a position, a turn, an altitude restriction with the approach clearance. PTAC. PTAC.
South 991, you're 4 miles from Gary's. Turn left heading 160. Maintain 3000 until established. Cleared ILS runway 13 approach San Marcos.
Turn left 160, maintain 3000 until established. Cleared for the ILS-13 into San Marcos. 991.
Rolling out of the turn here, 160 on the heading, maintaining 3000. I overshot the turn by about 5 degrees. Let's come back, fix that.
South 991, contact San Marcos Tower. We'll talk to you in a bit.
I'll go to Tower. We'll talk to you in a minute. San Marcos Tower, Skyhawk 80-991, ILS-13.
Skyhawk 80-991, San Marcos Tower, runway 13, clear for the option.
Clear for the option, runway 13, 991.
Alright, here we go. Let's start the left-hand turn. We're intercepting the localizer, runway 13. Use that ground track vector to our advantage. And here comes the glide slope. So we're going to start to reduce power. Gas on both undercarriages down and bolted because it's a Cessna 172. Mixture set where I want it. Power and carb heat reduced. Straps, we're strapped in. And flaps, we're in the wide arc. 1-1000, 2-1000, 3-1000. Flaps set 10 degrees. We're starting the descent. We're on the glide slope on the localizer. If you religiously run through your checklists at every phase of flight, you don't have to worry about if you forgot anything. You can just focus on flying the airplane. We're slightly above glide slope, slightly left of course. We're correcting. 78 knots. I like to keep it between 75 and 80 knots. It's a different sensation shooting an approach in IMC, I'm telling you.
Skyhawk 991, when able, can I get a basis report?
Absolutely, we'll let you know. 991.
Appreciate it, Josh.
Yeah.
Alright, we are past Gary's, so that's the final approach fix. And we are still in IMC, so that means I can log this approach for the purposes of currency, and we're going to get to do a hold entry on this next one. I want to do the full procedure RNAV 13. Slightly above glide slope, right on localizer. Couple knots fast. Ease some of that power out. We're a little bit high. I'll let it creep a little bit higher there. Small corrections. The great movie is The Patriot with Mel Gibson. There's a scene in there where he hands his 2 young boys muskets because they're about to go rescue his other son, the tyrannical British. And he says, remember boys, aim small, miss small. And I apply that to flying, especially instrument flying. If you make a small correction, don't get overzealous with your corrections, especially in IMC. Because then, if you look away from it for a second while you're making this massive turn to correct or massive power change or something like that, all it will take is just a second of you looking away, and then you'll have a massive deviation on your hands. You just blew through the localizer, you're way off glide slope now, whatever. So if you make small corrections, you will only have to handle small deviations. Aim small, miss small. 74 knots on glide slope on localizer. Well, we're a tiny bit above glide slope. Still an IMC. We're about 700 to go. Passing through 1,300 feet. Our barrel minimums are 793. That's the decision altitude for the LPV, or sorry, the ILS approach. Right at the bases, but I can't see the airport yet.
500.
That's 500 AGL. There's that beautiful runway with those runway lights.
Hey, Andre, the bases are right at 1,000 feet.
Appreciate it, Josh.
All right, we're clear for the option. We're visual.
Minimums.
Let's go mist. We're gonna cram. Carb in. We're gonna climb. Establish a climb. We're gonna clean up the airplane. Let's pull those flaps up since we're above VY at this point. We're gonna click, hit the go around button that activates the mist, and communicate.
Tower 80991 is going mist.
Roger.
I'm gonna arm heading mode and hit indicated airspeed. I'm gonna just set it for 85. And we're gonna get to a safe altitude and begin our left turn. That was a good ILS into 1-3.
And Skyhawk 991, you can start your turn, contact Austin departure.
All right, we'll start the left turn over to departure. We'll talk to you in a minute, 991.
All right, left-hand turn. 080, 3000 set, 85 knots, autopilot on.
Austin departure, Skyhawk 80991, 1900 off San Marcos.
80991, Austin departure, radar contact, the approach request.
80991 would like to do the full procedure RNAV 13 into San Marcos. That'll be a full stop.
80991, you can expect that for now, flighting 350.
All right, flight heading 350 for now, 991.
350 set. We're gonna do this one entirely on autopilot.
American 1459, clear direct payday.
Direct payday, American.
Andre's mic at San Marcos Tower is a little soft.
3344, contact tower 121.0. If you could give them a base report.
All right, 350, 2400 climbing to 3000. There's the San Marcos Airport. We did the 5 C's there. Cram, climb, clean, click, communicate. We're going to reset for the RNAV 13. We're going to go to Oral. And we're going to load it.
On the go around.
All right, we're leveling off.
80991, clear direct Oral. Maintain 3000 till established on the final approach course. Cleared RNAV approach runway 13.
All right, Director Rao, maintain 3000 until established on final clear for the RNAV 13 into San Marcos, 80991.
In smart charts on Garmin Pilot, Category A, we're shooting the LPV. We're going to use the Oral transition.
2141, contact tower 1.
And we can go direct to Oral now. Let's brief the RNAV 13 into San Marcos now. We've got Category A LPV minimums selected. I just saw that the MAUS lighting is working. The uncompensated barrel VNAV temperature restriction is non-applicable in this situation. We're going to select the Oral transition and brief comms first. We've got San Marcos ATIS, we'll get it one more time. We're talking to Austin approach, we've got tower in the standby. We just did an approach, so we're pretty much all set up there. Brief the approach. This is going to be a WAS approach, so we're going to see magenta needles. We're going to follow the GPS the whole time. Final approach course will be 126 degrees. And that will be auto-slewed on the avionics for us by the GPS. We're going to intercept the glide path at 2,700 feet at the Jisco intersection. Decision altitude is 793 feet, which actually was already in there. We're going to see a PAPI with MAUS lighting, which we just saw on that approach. 5,600 foot long runway, and the touchdown zone is 593 feet. Missed approach instructions are climb and maintain 3,000 straight out to the Hodel intersection and hold.
Continue right side heading 080.
The RNAV 13 into San Marcos is briefed. We're heading direct Oral right now. We're going to do a teardrop entry, and the autopilot's going to fly it all. We've been cleared for the approach, so we'll arm approach mode. Glide path is now armed.
134.2, Delta 831, and so on.
Ooh, hee-haw. Some bumps, that's a little updraft. Alright, Andre updated the ATIS to say overcast at 400. And on that approach, I reported to him that I broke out at 1,000 feet. Field elevation at San Marcos is 600. 600 plus 1,000 feet, where I was at on the altimeter. 1,000 feet above sea level, minus 600 feet above sea level. 400 feet above the ground is how high the clouds are. That is low IFR. Alright, we're going to do our teardrop entry at a RAL. We're going to come back around, intercept the final approach course, and then follow it on in. Based on everything the GPS knows we have to do, it's saying we're going to land with about 13.5 gallons remaining. So we're going to eat up 4.5 gallons going mist and coming back around to do another approach. Alright, the autopilot is taking us to an offset, and I believe the FMS is going to do the entire 6 nautical mile distance.
911, sorry, I just want to make sure the previous person had cleared, or you're already cleared for the approach when you move.
Hey firm, we've been cleared. We're going to maintain 3,000 until established. We're starting our teardrop entry now.
Thank you.
In GPS mode, altitude hold is active at 3,000 feet and glide path is gray. It's armed. It's ready to capture the glide path. So we're going to fly outbound right now, and it's going to do its 6 nautical miles out, and then it's going to come back around inbound for a teardrop entry. The weather cleared out. We have enough daylight. We have plenty of fuel. Let's do another approach. The ceiling it's like this stable, calm, smooth, low IFR. And the surrounding airports are higher. San Marcos just has a bad habit of being low IFR. There's a bunch of rivers that sort of converge right here in this area, and I think it creates some more humidity, moisture in the air. Alright, in 5 seconds, the FMS is going to take us around to intercept the final approach course. She's bringing us around. Might blow through the final approach path just a little bit because of the wind. We're about to have a tailwind. Yeah, we're blowing through it a little bit. That's okay, it's going to keep that turn coming right on around. It's because when we started that turn, all of a sudden we had a 20-something knot tailwind. We're going to hold 3,000 all the way until we intercept the glide path.
5 miles out, contact the tower, good day. Okay, 0991, contact San Marcos Tower, have a good day.
Over to San Marcos Tower. Thanks for the couple of approaches. You have a good night. San Marcos Tower, Skyhawk 809901, RNAV 13. This will be a full stop.
Skyhawk 809901, San Marcos Tower, report Gisgo inbound.
Report Gisgo inbound, 809901.
Alright, so we got to report the final approach fix inbound. I think they have radar screens in the San Marcos Tower here, but it piggybacks off of Austin's radar, so it's basically like a screen share of Austin's radar almost. Starting to get some ground contact, but that does not mean we're going to break out anytime soon. In order to see the runway, you need slant visibility. You almost need to be able to see directly sideways, not straight down. We are 1 nautical mile from Morale, in which case it will sequence to Gisco, which is the final approach fix, and then we will get a glide path indication on the side, and it will be pegged out. At that point, we're just going to maintain 3,000 until we intercept the glide path. That's what I like to do. Okay, the GPS just sequenced to the final approach fix. We have 4.5 minutes until we get there, so that's when we'll report to Andre that we're at the final approach fix, and the glide path is now visible. We're just going to wait for it to come alive, and that's when we'll get ready on our pre-landing checklist and do our GUMPS check. We've already done the pre-landing checklist. This is smooth IMC. Man, if you're going to shoot an instrument approach in an airplane like this is what you want. This is great. Alright, we'll blow through our pre-landing checklist again. Seatbelt shuttle harnesses are fastened. Brakes pedal tests. Taxi landing lights are all on. Aero minimums are 793. Cross-checked out with the approach. Smart charts here, 793. Autopilot will remain on until we have the runway in sight. Mixture, set best power. We're going to go ahead and start to get it in a little bit. Carb heat, let's check it real quick. Make sure we don't have any carb ice. Fuel selector will remain on both. Flaps, we're going to get that as part of the GUMPS check, and VREF will be 60 knots over the numbers as we're landing. Pre-landing checklist complete. I'm going to start to reduce the power a little bit. Let that speed start decaying so that we can get right down to 85 knots right as that glide path is starting to intercept us. Autopilot's pitching up to maintain altitude. Actually slowed down a little too fast there. We're about 75 knots right now. That's good. Glide path is captured. So the autopilot's about to start pitching nose down. And right at that moment is where I'm going to add 10 degrees of flaps. There we go. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. Flaps set 10 degrees. And that's the flap setting we're going to ride on the approach on the way down. Autopilot's pitching down. So you kind of have to reverse your mentality when you're shooting an approach with an autopilot. I need to tell him in half a mile. Normally when you're hand flying, you control your speed with subtle pitch movements, and you control your glide path or your descent rate with subtle power movements. And you just kind of do all that in a nice dance to make everything work perfectly. But when you're on autopilot, the only thing the autopilot knows is fly the glide path, fly the approach path, and it does that with pitch and roll. So I have to use power to control our speed now. So it's kind of, you have to reverse your mentality. Tower 80991 is just go inbound.
Scout 991, runway 13, cleared to land, wind 130 at 6.
Clear to land, runway 1380-991. Starting to see my landing lights out there. We are about 15 minutes from sunset. 80 knots, on glide path, on approach path. Good job, autopilot. So I'm kind of moving the power a little bit to maintain our speeds here. I'm sure it's still information Charlie, overcast 400. We're having like little subtle updrafts and downdrafts. If we have an updraft, the autopilot's putting the nose down to maintain the glide path, so it's going to make our speed go up. So we have to kind of respond with the throttle. If we hit a downdraft, the autopilot's going to be pitching up to maintain the glide path. But Garmin envelope protection is not going to let the airplane stall. It will let you know if we're getting too slow. And it's like, I'm trying to maintain the glide path, but we're too slow. Airspeed, airspeed. Oh, that's a traffic light that I'm seeing. I was like, is that the PAPI showing red and red? Red over red? Nope, it's a traffic light. Saying, stop. Stop looking at me. I'm not the airport environment. Get back on your instruments. All right, 82 knots. We're slightly fast. We're on glide path, on approach path. And go ahead and get the carb heat in. Everything was smooth, so we're not running too rich. Barely see the runway lights through the clouds there. We're coming down to 1,200 feet. 80 knots on glide path, on approach path. Runway in sight. 1,100 feet. That's
500.
a beautiful sight. Let's take it off autopilot. Already did our gumps check. We're just going to add another notch of flaps on short final here now that we see the runway, and that way we're not like getting all, change of configuration right there at approaching minimums. A lot of water on the runway. Try not to hydroplane. 1,000. 1,000.
Minimums.
Flaps 20. Runway in sight. Continue. Give it some nose up trim. We're coming down through 70 knots. Flaps 30. Power to idle. Aiming for the numbers. 60 knots. There's our ref speed. Come down into ground effect. And we're going to round out. And we're going to flare. Hold it right here. Chirp, chirp. There's the angle of attack beeping at me.
Stock 991, right at 26, left on Bravo Alpha to park. Have a good night.
Alright, right on 26, left on Bravo. Bravo Alpha to park. Thanks, Andre.
Have a good night, Josh.
All right, airplane's topped off with gas. Today was absolutely fantastic. I felt a little bit apprehensive at the beginning of the day, starting the day with a thunderstorm heading right for Ohio County. That ended up being not a big deal. It was just sort of some moderate rain that was isolated, and it came, it went, and we were able to take off. Experienced a little rain on that first flight, yielded to clear skies, beautiful first flight. And then on to Cherokee County, where I got to visit with a friend for a little bit and then prepare for the last flight. And that last flight was the one that had me really unsure about the outcome of how all of this was gonna go down. Am I gonna need to divert? Should I just stay here at Cherokee County? I have a buddy here who has a car, he lives here. Is it easily doable under IFR? I wouldn't say that it was easily doable, but I think that it was safe. I constantly had my outs. I was constantly eyeballing the next sort of pocket of VFR weather where I could easily get down to an airport without having to shoot an approach. And I was always keeping in mind the good weather that was right behind me. I was just in smooth weather. If it starts to get nasty, I'm in IMC getting thrashed around by some of this weather. I can always turn around. So there were a couple moments where, I kind of tightened my seatbelt a little bit and we got a little bit of turbulence, but it really wasn't bad at all. Very stable atmosphere with very, very little vertical development. It's a soupy day, and it was a real treat that air traffic control allowed me to do a second approach over here coming into runway 13. First the ILS, hand flown, and then the full procedure RNAV 13 on autopilot. Beautiful day to fly and beautiful day to exercise my instrument privileges. Glad to be back in Texas. I invite your feedback on this trip and this content in the comments down below. Be sure to give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you haven't, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next set of flights. Remember, if you train hard, you'll fly easy. Until next time, you know the drill. I want you to stay happy and healthy, stay current in your flying, but most importantly, stay proficient. Knock the rust off your privileges, exercise your good judgment, and expand your skills one flight at a time. We'll see you in the next video right here on Aviation 101. Fly safe.